We're here to talk about what Cloud First does. I founded the company back in January of last year, and effectively we've been working in large-scale digital archiving and digital storage for more than 2 decades. Prior to starting Cloud First, I was the CTO of Front Porch Digital. Product was called Diva Archive, very broadly deployed. Typically, it was on-premise, data tape-based storage, very, very large archive systems. Prior to that, I was a founder of Mastech as well. The business itself, actually, we sort of started purely as a consultancy with large-scale media organizations to help them plan their strategy around long-term archiving. We then evolved into a professional services team where we can actually gain information about the environment, analyze their data, perform analysis, do data modeling, so we can actually use real-world data to perform TCO calculations and TCO measurements to help the clients to plan their long-term objectives. Then we typically moved into a migration phase where we were helping the clients move off of these legacy data tape archive systems into solutions like Cloudian and hybrid cloud as well. So our main product is called Rapid Migrate. What we typically do is we'll deploy our Rapid Migrate product into your existing environment. We integrate into your legacy archive system. So usually we're working with clients that have Diva Archive systems, Mastech, SGL, Quantum systems, and are looking to move into a next generation archive platform. We integrate directly into those systems. They tend to be very large, 10, 20, 50 petabytes in size. The key objective here is that we don't want to impact the existing production operations, but we want to make the migration into the next generation archive as quickly as possible. Because they're data tapes, they tend to be very mechanically controlled. You know, we have to load something into a robot, into a drive. But what we try to do is we try to make that transfer as efficient as possible. So we'll load a tape in, and we'll migrate all the objects in the physical order that they appear on the data tape, while we're sustaining the customer's production environment. So effectively, Rapid Migrate will ebb and flow over the course of a day to maximize the transfer of all this data into the new world. As we're moving the data, in path we could do things like rewrapping or transcoding. So if you have legacy archive formats, maybe in older encoder formats, while we're migrating the data, we can actually be manipulating the information and unifying it before you land in your target platform. And the important part here is we're actually not just moving the objects and the data themselves, we're also preserving all the legacy archive metadata as well. So when we move into the Cloudian environment, we'll be tagging all those objects with all of the metadata that links it into your business systems, into your historical, your inventory systems, your catalogs, and that's maintained through the entire process. We also ensure end-to-end authenticity. So at every step in the process, we validate checksums, we check signatures of the content, so that by the time it lands onto your Cloudian storage system, we're guaranteed that it'll be authentic to the original content. We also have what we call a software-defined archive, which is a storage orchestration platform. So we can either work in tandem with Cloudian. Cloudian could be underneath our system if you wanted to maintain connectivity into your data tape robots and perhaps do a slower move off of data tape into Cloudian. So effectively, this content plus metadata can also get pushed into our own platform, which works in parallel with Cloudian. As I mentioned before, metadata is really key to this process. So perhaps you have an automation system or a media asset management system that's interfaced to your legacy archive system. As we're transitioning the data, what we're doing is on an object-by-object basis, we're populating the new pointers, new locations, plus this metadata into those systems. So it's a seamless operation as we migrate from your legacy platform into your new platform. Yes, of course. And then one interesting thing is, as we're helping clients, sort of the evolution of storage has been moving from data tape into object storage and then also in cloud in parallel. A lot of the deployments we're doing today are hybrid. And you can either have Cloudian directly integrating into a multi-cloud environment, or you can use our own storage orchestration platform, our software-defined archive, to perform those operations as well. But the whole idea here is, again, as we're transitioning the data into this new next-generation archive, we're ensuring that your production workflows aren't being negatively impacted. The interesting thing is, while we do the analysis phase and the planning, a lot of these migrations that we're currently working on could take upwards of 12 to 24 months. it's a very, very long process when you're talking about a very, very large amount of data. So, this platform basically runs inside your environment. It's a transitional, it's offered as a SaaS platform, so effectively it's per gigabyte egress from the legacy archive system into your new platform. And ultimately, when you're done with the migration, you turn the platform off and you stop paying. So it's really meant to be targeted towards just this transition into your next generation archive. So again, this is sort of indicative of the complexities of moving from where you are today into what your next generation platform could be. But our team of experts can actually lead you through this entire journey, and obviously we work very closely with Cloudian on several large-scale projects. So we start with strategy development, obviously planning, time frame calculations. We move into basically enabling you through data empowerment and letting you make data-driven decisions. We have the capabilities of capturing snapshots of your existing legacy archive database. We recreate it in our labs, and then we can do deep analytics on that to be able to show you exactly your utilization patterns, find the right balance between Cloudian, public cloud, maybe some of your existing storage infrastructures. And from that information, we can also help you do things like TCO analysis, where we could work with Cloudian. Maybe you're looking at Google or AWS or Microsoft in terms of a cloud platform. We can tell you exactly 3 to 5 years what your TCOs will be across the end-to-end platform. One of the things that we're trying to say is that most of those archive platforms that you're using today are stable, they're robust, they will continue to operate. There's some uncertainty about the future of some of those platforms now with some of the changes that are going on in the industry. But the thing to keep in mind is, again, while we start the migration process, it could take 12 or 24 months to actually complete the migration. So you don't want to wait 2 years before you start thinking about it, because it might be too late by then. So we're really looking to work with you today to find out, inform you, do the analysis, have a plan, have a strategy, and then when you decide to start the migration and you've picked the correct platforms, we can help you through that transition as well. One interesting thing as well is our team can also help you support your system. So while the legacy archive system, while you're migrating the data as well, to help with that transition. And ultimately then we can help you migrate and finish and complete and turn off your legacy archive system as well. Okay, and just a quick picture of what our software-defined archive is. Effectively, it's a storage abstraction, storage orchestration layer that sits between any type and any amount of storage, Cloudian, even legacy data tape if you wanted to maintain a tape footprint, multi-cloud as well. And effectively, we tie into all of these different things that create and consume content. So this could be mobile devices, it could be just about anything. And the way we expose interfaces up are through virtualized NFS, CIFS, and S3 endpoints. So effectively, any device that can read and write data to a file system or to an S3 target can integrate into the storage orchestration layer. One of the unique things about this is all of this orchestration is done by metadata. So you don't need to define things based on file sizes or objects or last use dates, typical file system metadata. We could be making storage decisions based on facial recognition data coming back down from AWS, transcription information. So effectively, you're looking at this being a little bit higher in the food chain than some of these legacy archive systems were, where they were just dealing fundamentally with storage. We're letting you now orchestrate based on metadata as well. Okay? That's it. So thank you very much.